Hello and welcome to today's Pacojet webinar. We are facing summertime pretty soon, and for that reason, and because a lot of our customers wished that for, we are celebrating the topic ice cream and sorbet today. I want to show you some ideas, some basics, and some inspiration how you can use Pacojet for your ice cream and sorbet preparation. We are working with our top model Pacojet 2 Plus today. 2 Plus is the model with the programmable automatic repeat function and the new blade locking system. All the recipes we are preparing today, or I prepare for you today, you will find on the Pacojet app. If you have any questions, please address the questions to us after the webinar. I will answer them, or write us an email to info@pacojet.de, and we will answer your questions. We start off with a basic preparation with a sorbet. Pacojet is well known for preparing the best ice cream textures in the world. The big advantage is you prepare the beakers whenever you have time, then you freeze them 24 hours, negative 22 degrees Celsius, and you pacotize them when you need them. Another advantage is you pacotize only as much as you need. The rest goes back into the freezer and you can reuse the next day. Or when the ice cream turns hard after a long day in the freezer, you pacotize it again and you have always fresh, top quality product with the amazing texture of an superb ice cream. So for the mango sorbet, I use the new synthetic pacotizing beaker. I have fresh chopped mango. Why do I use fresh fruit? I use fresh fruit because fresh fruit has nice fibers. The fibers, when I pacotize the fibers, I get a really, really nice texture. I need no additives or any stabilizers. To the fruit, I add simple syrup, maximum to the maximum fill line. I keep a little simple syrup because I will freeze them now, and then when you freeze them, you see that the fruit swims up to the top and will be outside of the simple syrup. So I freeze it, and after an hour, when it's a little solid on the top, I add more simple syrup on top in order to create a flat, even surface, which I need for pacotizing. Again, I need a flat surface and I need no air pockets inside the ice block. To finish up the recipe, I add a little lemon juice. It depends on the mango, on the fruit. Could be a little dense in flavor, so I add a little lemon juice to spice it up a little bit, to give him a little freshness and a twist. If I do only one recipe in one beaker, I can steer in, mix the recipe in the beaker. If I have a larger volume, I mix it in a bowl and then I fill it up in the single beakers. I have my lid labeled with the QR code labeling of the Pacojet app. Close the lid and in the freezer. 24 hours for at least 24 hours at negative 22 degrees Celsius. Next, what we do is a basic ice cream preparation, créme anglaise. Which is a French ice cream base out of milk, heavy cream, egg yolks, and sugar. We start off with boiling the cream and the milk. And on the side, we will beat eggs with sugar. I'm sure a lot of you know how to do a basic crème anglaise, but anyway, I wanted to show it to you. So we start with the basics. This one over here we bring to a boil. On the side, we take an extra bowl. We add 5 yolks and sugar. This is 120 grams of sugar. Maximum you should use around 150 grams of sugar per beaker. If you use more beaker, the mass inside the recipe will not freeze properly, not hard enough. And then when you pacotize, you have a too soft of a result. So here we whisk the yolks and the sugar together. There's many ways of preparing an anglaise. This is very traditional way. There's also possible that you mix all ingredients together, put them on a pot, bring it to a boil, heat it up to 82 or 80, between 80 and 82 degrees Celsius, in order that it emulsifies and thickens. But if you put it on a pot directly, you got to be careful, because the egg mixture is easily cooking on the bottom, and then you get that scrambled egg taste in your ice cream, and we certainly don't want that. Here, classic is only using egg yolks for the recipe, but you could also use full eggs or whole eggs. So if you have nothing else to do with your egg whites, and you will say, I don't want to throw it away, I don't want to use it for anything else, I put it inside, you can do that as well. Same preparation, but the result will be different. The result with the egg whites inside gives you more fluffy, more moussey texture on your ice cream, compared with the only egg yolk method. That would be really dense, really rich in flavor, nice, creamy result. Now we have here in the pot, we have little water. We bring the water to a boil, and we beat the egg yolks with the sugar until the sugar is dissolved, and we have a nice fluffy, creamy texture already in here. And there's another advantage. Since we bring that on temperature and bring that on temperature, we're going to be faster with finishing the ice cream. We need to go, in order to prevent salmonella, we need to go at 70 degrees Celsius for more than 10 minutes. Then we kill all the salmonella. But here we are using fresh eggs anyway, and in fresh eggs there's no salmonella. And then we need to go up to between 80 and 82 degrees Celsius, because the egg yolk thickens by 78 degrees Celsius. So in order to get a thickening result from the egg yolks, we need to go above 78 degrees Celsius. So whisk in an 8. You don't have to whisk really hard, just steady. And then when the sugar is dissolved, we lower the temperature here a little bit, and then we add the cream and milk mixture to the egg mixture. This step is very important, not the other way around. Don't mix or add the egg to the cream, because if you add little egg to a lot of hot cream, the egg yolk will immediately flake, and you have scrambled eggs. So as soon as we have that stirred in, we give away the whisk, and we use a spatula, so we can nicely scrape down from the sides. All right. So now use a thermostat. Let's see, we are on 70, 74. We are already in 80, 81 degrees. So temperature is good, so we can lower the heat on our water bath. Now we just have to wait that the crème is thickening. That takes a little bit of time. Always scrape it down nicely, and then you feel it already, that it thickens. You can feel, and then you can see it. This step is really important, that you have, after pacotizing, a really nice texture. If you don't do that properly here, the result will be too soft. And then the ice cream is just too soft after pacotizing. So make sure the recipe thickens nicely. We can feel it, that it thickens. Give him a little bit more spins here. And when the creme is thickened, we add espresso. This is freshly brewed espresso, 120 milliliters, because we are making Viennese iced coffee out of our crème anglaise. This is an amazing recipe, really delicious, fantastic recipe. You can use for, if you are able to open the terrace and serve food on the terrace for the summertime, Viennese iced coffee that way, prepared with Pacojet. That's just an amazing recipe, I tell you. So espresso is in the creme. We add it to the beaker, and now the mass is still hot. So we put it on the side, let it cool down, and when it's cooled down, we close it with the lid, and then we put it into the freezer, because I don't want to have steam in my freezer. So I put it on the side, let inhale the mass, the flavor of the coffee, and then we freeze it later on. And by the end of the webinar, we will prepare the iced coffee. Next step is we're gonna go more into the creativity, what is possible with Pacojet. And for that reason, I show you two appetizers. So we have spring is coming. We have on the left side over here, we have a very nice heirloom tomato salad. And on the other side, I have a roast beef. First, I'm gonna finish off the heirloom tomato salad. I prepared a little vinaigrette. You see on the heirloom tomato salad, there's some red onions, pickled red onions. We garnish it with some herbs. And then on top, I have pre-pacotized before the webinar and basil ice cream. The recipe is also on the Pacojet app. I just took the recipe from the app, reduced the sugar, because I want to serve it as an appetizer and not a dessert. So I reduced the sugar, and this is really an amazing combination. See how bright and green the basil ice cream is. I have a lovely texture. I have it pre-pacotized before the webinar, so I can work out of the freezer a couple of hours before it turns hard again. This you would do the same way in a restaurant. You know you're gonna be busy in the next hour. Pacotize your because your ice cream. What do you need? Put it in the freezer, and then you can scoop out of the freezer. So you serve a lot of time. For the next appetizer, our roast beef. I finished garnishing it out with like an mustard aioli, couple drops here and there. Also some greens, make it nice, tasty and fresh. This is chervil, just to give him a little freshness. And here we have Porcini ice cream. The Porcini ice cream, also on the Pacojet app, is an ice cream base, is an eggless ice cream base, and an amazing recipe. very simple with no eggs, and I used dried porcinis to give them the porcini flavor of the ice cream. The rest of the beaker, make it flat again, scrape it down, and I put it back into the freezer right away. So for the next order, I have the same amazing texture. This is a really nice combination. Ice cream, I like that combination of something cold, warm, savory, little Swedish combination. It's just a little experimental, but it works really, really well, and amazing combination for the hot summer days. Packaging beaker goes back into the freezer, and our mise en place as well. And these two appetizers are now ready to go to our customers. Next, what we do is I wanted to show you the mango sorbet we prepared earlier, right? So serve it as a single order sorbet. Here is the beaker. You see, nicely topped with the sugar syrup, simple syrup. We have a nice, even, flat surface, perfect for packaging. We take the packaging blade, put it into the splash guard, attach the packaging blade with a quarter twist, quarter turn to the Pacojet 2 Plus. Insert the packaging beaker into the protective outer beaker and attach it to the Pacojet. Maybe we can zoom to the display now. So I will show you the functions of the Pacojet. Very good. We see over here packaging. This is for the frozen preparations. Then we have chopping, cutting for non-frozen with the Pacojet coupe set. And this is the whipping mode over here with the Pacojet whipping disc. Now we select the packaging. This would mean we would packetize the full beaker. The full beaker is done in less than 4 minutes, so we can do 15 liters of ice cream in 1 hour. So we are really fast. We select 3 portions. I think 2 portions is maybe enough. To have it nice and creamy, we do 2 repetitions. Some recipes, especially if I do only a small amount of portions, work better when I do more repetitions. Over here, we have the overpressure. We work with overpressure because we want to have a fluffy, creamy result that the sorbet turns out almost like an ice cream. And then we press start. Pacojet is working for us, so we have time to set up. We take our plate where we want to serve the ice cream on. Then I prepared a little like an ice disc, like an ice block, where I put on this little piece of paper so it doesn't slip on the plate. And on this ice block, I serve the single scoop of sorbet. Then as a garnish, we have here a raspberry coulis. The raspberry coulis, raspberry sauce, easy made. You know, raspberries are really not that cheap. So before throwing them out, put them in the packaging beaker, add some simple syrup, packetize, and you have the perfect raspberry sauce. And you only need to packetize what you need. The rest stays frozen in the freezer. You don't need to throw anything out anymore. And then we need a little crunch on the side. So over here, Now the perfect sorbet. You see only the top is pacotized. The bottom is still not touched. Now we take out a nice canal of our sorbet. The beaker, what we don't need, we scrape down, we create a flat surface again. We have that much time. Put the beaker back into the freezer for the next time we need it. So we get always the perfect result. On top as a garnish, I have some caramelized cashew nuts, and we put that raspberry coulis on top, and like this we can serve it as a single order sorbet scoop to our customer. The customer gets a perfect ice cream, still chilled by the ice block on the bottom, and so he gets a really nice pre-dessert, mini dessert, whatever you want to call it. So this is ready to go out, so we serve it to our customers now. Wonderful. Next, go into creativity a little bit. What I wanted to show you is now do a stracciatella kind of ice cream. We know Pacojet pacotizes everything super smooth. So how do I get the chocolate chips into the ice cream? I show it to you. First, we take an empty beaker. We take chocolate drops, and we use that for the Pacojet coupe set. We use the 4-blade cutter. We attach it with the cutter tongue. Very important to use the cutter tongue because it's secure, it's safe attachment, not that I hurt myself. The advantage here is the Pacojet, the coupe set goes top down through the product. There's no heat transfer. That's why I can grind down the chocolates to chocolate chips without melting the chocolate. We attach the beaker. We go to the cutting mode I showed you before. We do 2 repetitions because I want to have smaller chunks of chocolate. I could also play around with the air pressure, but in that case, the air pressure does not infect the result. So we press start. In the meantime, we use the time again. I can do something different. So I get ready for my dessert preparation. I serve it on that ice bowl. Then I take some twill. The twill is also pacotized. Twill recipe is flour, butter, sugar, and a little lemon zest. And then frozen, pacotized on a silpat, 10 minutes in the oven, 180 degrees Celsius, and then I have a perfect twill. And I pacotize it to order when I need to prep it, and have the rest stored in the freezer. So here I have prepared the Fiordi Latte ice cream. The recipe is also on the Pacojet app. The recipe is from a pastry chef from the Swiss National Culinary Team. Really an amazing recipe. You find some really nice videos on the Pacojet website. Also with the Swiss Culinary National Team, some recipe videos. Check it out. What we do now, when we have the chocolate chips finished, we top it on top of the still frozen beaker. And then we pacotize. And with the pacotizing process, we steer in the chocolate chips into that Fiordi Latte ice cream. And then we have a perfectly stracciatella ice cream. But that works only once, because we know when we freeze that beaker again and it's hard, and then we packetize, the chocolate chips will be gone. Here we have the perfectly grinded chocolate chips. I hope you can see that. Yes, really nice, evenly. That's not melted. It's perfectly chopped. So now we take the desired amount on top. So for the synthetic pacotizing beaker, we need the chrome steel protective outer beaker to pacotize, because the regular synthetic protective outer beaker will not work. So we need to use the chrome steel one. Attach the blade, attach the beaker. We go to pacotizing, and I do 2 portions with overpressure, but only 1 repetition, because this time I want to have a little bit more compact, a little bit more dense result of that ice cream. You can only add as much of that chocolate chip on top of the frozen beaker as there is space, but you could also add some liquor to incorporate into your ice cream. We could add some rum to infuse it into that ice cream. It's always better to add the alcohol that way, because if you add it before and you're gonna freeze it, it's not gonna freeze properly, because alcohol doesn't freeze properly, and then you will have not a nice result, because the result will be too soft after pacotizing. 2 portions, 40 seconds later, we are ready. Take it off. And now we have perfect. You can see it right through the beaker. We have our stracciatella ice cream. Nice chocolate chips evenly mixed in to our ice cream base. And ready to serve. This could also be a basic recipe, the Fiordi latte, for a frozen yogurt kind of setup. You take one basic ice cream recipe and add different toppings inside if you like. And this is now ready to serve to our customer. Now we're going over to the next topic. The next topic is vegetable as a dessert. Vegetable becomes more and more popular. A lot of chefs focus more on the vegetables, also in the main courses, going away from the meat dishes. So why not using vegetables in your dessert? For that, I have a really amazing red cabbage sorbet. It's raw red cabbage with some simple syrup. There is some lemon juice inside. You take the raw red cabbage, you sprinkle it with the lemon juice, you get a nice pinkish color in the beaker, push it down, freeze it, and you get that from that raw vegetable, from the you get a really, really nice texture. It will be really stable. There is no artificial stabilizers needed for that recipe. Put it into the Pacojet. We take three portions, so we have a nice amount that we can scoop nicely, we take 2 repetitions. If I would do the full beaker, there would be maybe only 1 repetition enough, but with 3 portions, I need maybe 2 repetitions in order to get that desired texture I like to have. Pacojet is pacotizing. In the meantime, I have time to prepare my dish. As a garnish for that red cabbage sorbet works well coconut marshmallow. I took that out of the fridge. I have that pacotized before the webinar. Now I just chilled. The recipe is from a Pacojet user in Singapore, from Janice Wang. It's a really creative recipe. The texture is fantastic. It's spongy like a marshmallow, still airy and fluffy with the flavor of coconut. That goes really well with the red cabbage, I think, and it gives us a touch of creativity. Can put that back into the fridge for later use. As a garnish to that red cabbage sorbet works mango well. I could also put a little mango juice in the sorbet if I like. I have prepared a beaker with mango powder. You can see it on top, outside. There's the powdered mango, and in the center there's still the whole mango. I used whole mango and the simple syrup with very little sugar syrup. If your recipe turns out like a powder, there's 2 reasons. There's one reason: there is not enough energy incorporated into the mass, so it didn't emulsify. So you have to do a second turn. That happens if you do only 1 portion or half a portion, or there's not enough sugar or fat or any other emulsifier in your recipe. Then it would turn out like a powder. But in that case, we wanted to have that powder as a kind of like garnish, like a little fusion cuisine. So here we have now ready our red cabbage sorbet. This is really from the structure, from the fibers, from the vegetable, that gives a really nice structure. You see on outside the pacotized part, and in the center, I give it a little light, is still the unpacotized part. But the texture is amazing, and the flavor anyway. So color just amazing as well. You take a nice. Oh, we forgot the little ice break, that the ice cream is not slipping around on our plate. We add it. Of course, the ice cream on the beaker, I flattened the top and put it back into the freezer, either now or right after I plated the dessert. Then we take our mango powder on top as a garnish. That gives a really nice, fresh and little twist, but we still need a little crunch. So I have some meringue. Also, the recipes on the website, meringue pacotized and then dried in the oven. Just break it up and add some crunch to the recipe. Different way, 4 different textures, all made with Pacojet. This is a real nice dessert. The beakers I put back into the freezer for later use. the powder, the snow that would stay on that beaker like that, and I can just take it out whenever I need it. So we serve that now to our customers. And now our last thing we have to do is our Viennese Ice Coffee. For that, we take the beaker we have prepared before. Now is the espresso is nicely incorporated into that crème anglaise. We packetize 3 portions. 1, 2, 3, with overpressure, because I want to have a nice creamy texture. In the meantime, I prepare my bowl. Since it's a Viennese ice coffee, I like to add some whipped cream to the beaker. And the whipped cream, of course, we whip it with Pacojet. I've prepared 250 milliliters of heavy cream in a pacotizing beaker, and then we will whip it up with the whipping disc. We still have some time, so we can prep our glass where we want to serve our iced coffee in, and we need a spatula to fold in the heavy cream. The advantage here is that I get a lot of portions out of the one beaker. So we did only 3 portions ice cream, and we get easily 2 of these huge glasses of the Viennese ice coffee out of that 3 portions we're pacotizing now. For the heavy cream, we do 2 repetitions, but with normal pressure, because I want to have it like half beaten, like half soft whipped cream, that it's not overbeaten, that it will give him a nice texture when we stir it into that iced coffee. Into that chrome steel protective outer beaker, and we use the whipping disc. Attach the whipping disc also in a 90 degrees turn. Then we go to whipping. We do 2 repetitions and portions. With the portions, I can tell the Pacojet how full my beaker is. I can only do 400 milliliters of liquid or heavy cream to whip up, because the volume gain is more than 100%. And if I would add more than 400 milliliters of heavy cream, I would risk that there's getting heavy cream or whipping cream inside of the Pacojet. And we press start. In the meantime, over here, we have our Viennese ice cream. Viennese ice cream. You could also sell it as a coffee or espresso ice cream. But now we take that out. Add it to a bowl. The rest, you see the rim is really, really dirty, so I wipe it down, I clean it, I put back the beaker lid, and then back into the freezer for the next time when I need it. And here I have my nice and creamy ice cream, and the heavy cream, the whipped cream, should be ready anytime soon over here. As a garnish, you could give them a little twirl, so we have a little crunch. Always very important that you have a little crunch in each dish you serve, so it keeps it a nice texture and a different mouthfeel. for your customer. That Viennese Ice Coffee was a big hit in the restaurant I used to have, and it's a big seller. And you can have at this glass, you could charge a good price for that as well, because it's homemade and it's really, really, really delicious. You see, perfectly whipped cream. We take it out. Maybe we don't use all of it. Keep something. Let's see how it turns out. Nicely stir it in, fold it in carefully that you don't whip out all the air, the nice air what we have inside, and what gives us that really nice creamy texture. Ah, this is just, look, perfect. Shiny, creamy texture, still foldable. And that is our perfect Viennese Ice Coffee here. Fill it into the glass. Add a straw and a spoon. And then we can always garnish it with a little twill. This is really an amazing recipe. Try it, test it. Your customer will love that recipe. And with that Viennese Ice Coffee, we are already at the end of our today's webinar. Let me summarize real quick what we have seen today. I showed you 2 traditional ways, recipes for an ice cream, and one for the sorbet. The sorbet is fresh fruit, simple syrup, and that's it. Maybe a little lemon juice, no stabilizers needed because you had the fruit flavors. Then we had the crème anglaise, classic ice cream production, flavored with some coffee, in that case, into the beaker, freeze it, and then pacotize it when needed. Then I showed you 2 appetizers. We had the heirloom tomato salad with the basil ice cream. You could also use this basil apple sorbet on the Pacojet app, vegan, which works perfect with the heirloom tomato salad. With the heirloom tomato salad, you could also sear a piece of fish on top, and then you have a main course. Then I showed you the roast beef with the Porcini ice cream. Porcini ice cream is eggless. I use 2 grams of agar-agar as a stabilizer, only a little amount in that recipe. Amazing recipe. You could make it a mustard ice cream. You could make it an herbal ice cream, all with the same base. Try it out. Then we played at the mango sorbet on that ice rock with the raspberry sauce on top as a single scoop order to serve as a pre-dessert, as a mini dessert, whatever you like. Then we had the Fiordi Latte base ice cream, what we used to create our special stracciatella ice cream with the twill on top. And then we had a little experiment, vegetable as a dessert with the coconut marshmallow. Coconut marshmallow is also a cool recipe you should test, with the mango snow, mango powder, and the pieces of meringue on top of that dessert. And we finished with the Viennese iced coffee. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Thank you very much for being part of that webinar. I hope to see you soon. Take care, stay healthy, and all the best.